La 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 la.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are Teach the Shoah, and this is Light from the Darkness. This is Light from the Darkness, a ritual for Holocaust remembrance. If you have the book, we will be starting on page 2. If you don't worry, it will be up on the screen, as you can see, for you to follow along. As with all ceremonies of this nature, this is a participatory event. Please join us in the readings and the rituals as much as you are able, and please add your thoughts to the chat at any time.
We have been broken. Parts of us will always be broken. We gather each precious shred and piece them together to create a new vessel that will hold our love and our pain. We find that we are somehow whole and broken at the same time. We discover glimmers of holiness in the cracks, for it is through these jagged windows that we see the paths to building a better world. There is more to a broken vessel than the hammer that shattered it. Read with me. Even when we are enveloped by evil, we hold on to our own humanity and our faith. We emerge as Jewish people, strengthened in our resolve to remain Jews. The thread of Jewish life was, and still is, strong.
These mismatched candlesticks remind us of the resilience that our ancestors have always shown in dark times. They made do with what they had. They never gave up the determination to hold on to their Judaism. We take inspiration from their resilience and from those who found the strength to stand when standing seemed impossible. If you have candles to light, light them now with us.
I am going to light the candles. Thank you. And read with me, please. We light these candles for the light that shines in the hearts of all who fight against evil. For a single candle can both defy and define the darkness.
אשרי הגפרון שנשרף והצית לבבות. Blessed is the match consumed in a kindling flame. Blessed is the flame that softly burns in a heart's secret place. Blessed the hearts that like flickering lights seem to vanish and die without shame. Blessed is the match consumed in a kindling flame.
We begin our story in the light. We remember Not so long ago, our mothers and our fathers, our sisters and our brothers lived in the land of Europe. We were Jews of many different sorts. We were religious and secular. We lived in cities and in small towns. We lived in countries across the world. We spoke many different languages. We were doctors and dressmakers, printers and poets, scientists and shopkeepers, weavers and welders. We were a warm family whose life followed a quiet, carefree routine. Our roots reached back generation upon generation, living there amidst friends, neighbors, and acquaintances. With this loving background, the years flowed peacefully. Miriam Yahav, Poland. An ancient hatred, unashamed, was emerging from the shadows, but we did not recognize the approaching danger. We thought that the world was evolving beyond such ignorance.
The wine recalls for us the joys of an ordinary life. Raise your wine glass and say with me, we drink a cup of wine in celebration of that ordinary life.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of vine, lechaim, to life.
We must be watchful. When we ignore the rising shadows of hatred, they engulf us. We remember. Hatred spread across Germany like poison in water. The Germans looked at us with cruel laws and humiliations. They did not care who we were or what we did. They did not care whether we were religious or secular, from the city or from the country, civilian or soldier, only that we were Jews. The Psalms reflect our anguish. Every day they make my words sorrowful. All their thoughts about me are for evil. They gather and hide. They watch my steps. They hope to capture my soul.
Trouble does not begin with fanfare, but as storm clouds building in the distance. We remember. Every day they keep issuing new laws against Jews. Today, for example, they took all our appliances away from us: the sewing machine, the radio, the telephone, the vacuum cleaner, the electric dryer, my camera, and my bicycle. Augie said we should be happy they're taking things and not people. Ava Heyman, Romania. In the overcrowded ghettos, we lamented. I feel as if I'm in a box. There is no air to breathe. Wherever you go, you encounter a gate that hems you in. I feel as if I have been robbed. My freedom is being robbed from me, my home, and the familiar streets I love so much. I have been cut off from all that is dear and precious to me. Vidishek, Rodoshevsky, Lithuania.
Throughout our time together tonight, we will be hearing short stories from the lives of people who experienced the Holocaust. We've done this for several years, but this year's stories are special. They will be told by three extraordinary young adults who have chosen to be keepers of memories for survivors whose story they are telling. They interviewed these survivors this fall and learned to tell their stories as part of a program we called Lesaper, to tell. These tellers are all non-Jewish university students from Arkansas, and they've spent the last several months bringing these stories of DC and LA-based Holocaust survivors to audiences in Arkansas. We are awed by their strength and dedication. We will be hearing two scenes from each of their stories woven through our ritual. Our first story comes from the life of Henry Will, told by Maddie Ruiz. I want to comment that Henry is here, and we are honored to have him here at our um, ritual with us. Maddie will be telling in first person as if she were Henry.
I don't remember much from Austria, but the earliest thing I remember is one morning I walk into the living room and my parents are looking out of the window. And it was just kind of natural. I wanted to see what they were looking at. So I go out and I kind of have to lean over the edge and I see a line of men all wearing the same clothes and walking exactly the same. I didn't really know what this meant, but I do remember hearing my mother crying in the background. After this, things changed. I wasn't really sure why. My father was always trying to get something. I found out later that he had to go out every day to attempt to gain visas for me, my sister, and my mother. When we finally were able to find a way out, we had been in Paris getting our visas. We made our way to England, and as we got to where our ship was supposed to depart, we realized that it was just too late. We hadn't made it. It was really lucky that we were able to find our second ship. We found a way to make it to the United States, and if we had made it for our first departure, we would have never made it across because that ship was sunk on its way to the port.
If you have a glass of tea, raise it with me now. We remember, even in the ghetto, we celebrated Shabbat. We found, however, that wine for Kiddush was often impossible to get. The rabbis ruled that sweet tea could be substituted. Let us say together, we drink this tea in memory of the Kiddush wine we could not have.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, by whose word everything comes into being.
We remember. Holding on to the hope that we might one day be reunited, we sent our children into hiding. A few were sent to safety beyond the borders. Others found hiding places with friends, neighbors, and strangers. As Mommy and Umi waved to me, I chose to hide my tears, and I smiled. I wanted to give them strength. Ruth Westheimer, Germany.
I want you to take a piece of paper. On it, I want you to write a hope for the future, a personal hope or a hope for the community. These notes represent our hope for our children and our faith in their future. Hope and faith may seem frail comfort, but they are still girders that give us the strength to stand. As we did in the time of trouble, we now conceal our hope in a secret place. We keep it safe. May we find it again at the end of our journey. Let us hide our hope, protect it until we are once again safe, and we can reveal our hope and our faith to the world. Hide your note in a safe place.
Our next story comes from the life of Leah Frank, told by Riley Farco.
April 17th, 1943. It's Leah's 7th birthday and her sister Ellie's 4th birthday. The day was spent with our family, sharing love, enjoying each other's presence, because what Leah didn't know was that her 7th birthday would be the last full day she saw her family all together. Early April 18th, Leah and Ellie are placed on the back of bikes, ridden by their parents' 2 closest non-Jewish friends. They're each given a sack and told, "We'll see you soon, you're going away for a couple of days." Transit home after transit home after transit home. Leah is transported all the way to Amersfoort, where she would stay with a doctor and his family in their home. Her first evening there, Leah's put in her own bedroom with her own big bed, but she's crying. Her new hiding parents tell her, "You don't have to cry, you're safe here. We will take care of you." But Leah's not scared. She's confused. Leah told her new hiding parents, "I don't sleep alone at night. I sleep with my sister."
Words fail as we begin to speak of the darkest times. We remember. The Germans, with willing partners, murdered us in staggering numbers. Mass graves filled the forests of Europe. My heart shudders within me, and the terrors of death have descended upon me. Fear and trembling penetrate me, and I am enveloped with horror. Psalm 55. We were murdered without mercy. Mothers and fathers, children and grandparents. We were murdered simply for being Jews.
The Germans forced us from our homes into ghettos, into slave labor camps, and into death chambers. In our blind ignorance, we thought that deportation was a better solution. Fools that we were, we thought that the ghetto was the ultimate in abysmal blackness. We did not know that from here on, we would be severed and cut off from everything that was familiar and dear to us. We did not know that from that train ride on, we would be robbed of our whole world. Sarah Lesaper, Poland.
Our next story comes from the life of Ava Bretler, told by Cooper Horton. And I want to point out, Ava is also with us tonight, and we are honored to have her with us, sharing in this ritual.
The potato peels rested in a pile on the ground. They were trash discarded from the kitchens, not fit to eat. But to the group of people standing on the other side of the fence, they were treasure. They were sustenance. They were survival. Ava, being the smallest of the group, just a child, was the only one able to fit underneath the gap in that fence to get to that treasure. So she went under one time, grabbed as many as she could, slid back under. But before she could take any for herself, they were ripped from her arms by the other people standing next to her. She protested, but they only cared about getting food for themselves, and soon Ava was left with nothing. So she went under one more time, grabbing as many as she could. And the same thing happened when she came back. The potato peels were gone, and Ava still didn't have anything to eat. On the third time she went through, she got some into her hands, and before she went back through, she ate some potato peels for herself, knowing that that was the only way she would get to eat. And then she passed back under, and the rest she left for the rest of the people. The harsh conditions in the camps took away any sense of community and left only a desire for survival.
Fill your wine cups if you haven't already, but don't drink. We grieve as we remember the vibrant Jewish communities that were destroyed. If you have the name of a community that was lost, please share it with us in the chat and we will read it as we read the names of the communities. A cry is heard in Ramah, wailing, bitter weeping. Rachel weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children who are gone. Jeremiah.
We spill drops of wine to remember the blood that was spilled, the whole communities that were destroyed. These losses diminish our lives as we diminish the wine in our glasses. Let these few represent for us the many. If you have the names of the communities that you would like us to read, please put them in the chat. For each of these communities, we will dip our finger and spill a drop of wine. Repeat after me. Warsaw, Vienna, Thessaloniki, Riga, Kiev, Sarajevo, Chelm, Kielce, Wiesbaden, Prague. And from the chat, Poznan, Velitska, Ostrov, Humania, Slovakia, Sabinov, Slovakia, Berdožov, Slovakia, Molodec, Borovets. I think that's all.
Sokoli.
Sokoli. And Tarnov, Poland.
In the rising of the sun, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind, we remember them. In the warmth of summer, in the chill of winter, we remember them. When we are weary and sick at heart, when we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us, as we remember them.
We pause in terror before the human deed, the cloud of annihilation, the concentration of death, the cruel casual way of each to each. But in the stillness of this hour, we find our way from darkness into light. We remember. Despite our enemies' eagerness to strip us of our Judaism and of our humanity, we continue to educate our children, to celebrate our holidays, to love and help each other. Although prayer was forbidden, we prayed in secret communities and within the secret places in our heart. Our faith was the one thing they could not take from us. Rivka Wagner, Poland. Hidden between the bunks, We whispered the familiar words of the Friday evening prayers and found tranquility. I discovered for the first time in my life the real power and value of prayer and faith in God. I could feel my words shattering the iron gates and the high-powered fences, going past the hundreds of guards, dugouts, and watchtowers, into the open, reaching towards heaven. Here, I knew, was a way of escape, a source of strength, and a means of survival of which no power on earth could deprive me. Simka Nsdorfer, Czechoslovakia. In the ghetto, a young boy defied the bitterness.
From tomorrow on, I shall be sad. From tomorrow on. Today I will be happy. What's the use of sadness? Tell me that. Because the evil winds begin to blow? Why should I grieve for tomorrow, today? No, today I will be glad. And every day, no matter how bitter it be, I will say, from tomorrow on, I shall be sad, not today. Matella, a child in the ghetto.
Many have tried to destroy us. Pharaoh, Amalek, Haman, Caesar, the Inquisition, the Nazis. None have succeeded. In the Torah, we are commanded, choose life, so that you and your children shall live. Join me. As long as that secret power is concealed within us, we shall not yield to despair. Chaim Kaplan, Poland. As we fight physical, mental, and spiritual battles, we cry out with generations-old refrain, L'chaim, to life. We continue to live our Judaism and not let evil destroy our faith in God or in humanity.
We return to Riley and Leah.
Backed into a corner, shaky breath, an adult looking down on her. Leah is being bombarded, question by question, from her new hiding family's housekeeper. In her face, she questions, where are you from? Where are your parents? Why don't they contact you? Leah takes a deep breath and says, I'm an evacuee from Rotterdam. I don't know where my parents are. The new housekeeper isn't pleased with this answer, but she lets it go for the time being. And as a way to bring some normalcy into a time where nothing was normal, that night, Leah's hiding parents came into her and her hiding sister's rooms and asked them how their day was. She obviously had to tell them what had happened, and she did. Leah's hiding parents immediately told her how incredibly proud they were of her for saying exactly what she was told to say. And as a reward, Leah was given the last piece of candy that they had been able to save from before the war started.
We remember. Helpers lived in every country in Europe. They came from every walk of life. Some saved hundreds, some saved one. They did all they could to save as many as they could, regretting only that they could not do more. Having been their nanny for 13 years, 26-year-old Erzsébet Fajo swore she would protect the Abonyi family. As the bombs fell on Budapest and the fascist militias searched the streets for Jews, Erzsébet risked her life daily to find a safe place for each family member to hide. She saved us day by day. Zsuzsanna Osveth, Hungary. With her partners at the secret organization Jagoda, Irina Sendler smuggled thousands of Jewish children out of the Warsaw Ghetto. She hid them in ambulances, snuck them through underground passageways, and wheeled them out concealed in boxes and suitcases. She kept track of the children on papers buried in glass bottles, hoping someday to reunite them with their families. Every child saved with my help is the justification of my existence on this earth, and not a title to glory. Irina Sendler, Poland.
We honor the helpers so that we may gain wisdom from them. We must always strive for the courage to help those in need. Reach your hand to me. From a distance, we will help each other. Now let us say together, we reach hand to wrist as if pulling each other to safety. Each person's decision to help was difficult. The risks were many. Would we have made such a decision? We cannot know. We cannot judge. In gratitude and hope, we honor the helpers. We draw inspiration from them and vow to never be indifferent to the plight of others. Strength comes to those who pursue justice.
We remember. Liberation eventually came. As the armies of the world moved towards vanquishing evil, they discovered a hell that left them stunned. As recorded in Daniel, it will be a time of trouble as has never been before. At that time, your people will be rescued. Let us say together, we must remember the affliction of our people so that no people shall ever suffer such a fate again. We are commanded to provide comfort where there is suffering, for you know the heart of the stranger, since you were strangers in the land of Egypt. How do we ensure that no one suffers such a fate again? We resolve to strengthen the world through our commitment to justice. We say, Leolam lo od, never again.
Never again shall we ignore the gathering shadows of hate.
Leolam lo od.
Never again shall we stay silent at the preaching of malice.
Leolam lo od.
Never again shall we excuse those who hate.
Leolam lo od.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'gevurah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who girds Israel with strength.
Never again shall we stand and watch while people are mistreated.
Leolam lo od.
Never again shall we allow groups of people to be separated and made unequal.
Leolam lo od.
Never again shall we watch a community plant the seeds of hate and do nothing.
Leolam lo od.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who frees the captive.
Never again shall we think we are helpless to stop the coming of evil.
Le'olam lo od.
Never again shall we forget our own strength.
Le'olam lo od.
Never again shall we allow hatred to go unanswered.
Le'olam lo od.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'rdof tzedek. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy through your commandments and commands us to pursue justice.
The partisans lead. Sag nicht keinmal, als du gehst dem letzten Weg. Und Schimmeln bleien, ich verstehen bläuer Tag. Weil kommen weg doch unser ausgebänkte Schar. Das Wetter beugt und unser Trott, wir senden da. You must not say that you now walk the final way, because the darkened heavens hide the blue of day. The time we've longed for will at last draw near, and our steps as drums will sound that we are here.
A question stands stark before us. How do we move forward when we have lost so much? Let us say together, we walk with a hole in our hearts and weight in our footsteps, but we walk forward. We are reduced, but we refuse to remain broken.
We return to Maddie and Henry.
When I was a teenager, my family was passing through this small Jewish farming community somewhere in Delaware. There were a bunch of different farms. There was vegetables and fruit, milk, really anything you could want. But my father decided that day that he wanted to go into this egg stand. So me and my mother stood outside and waited for him. And it started to take a little bit longer than usual, but we didn't think much of it until he came back out. And he was broken. He told us that the woman running the farm had been with his sister in the concentration camps. My father had still heard nothing on what had happened to any of his family. The woman told him that she watched an officer lead his sister to a building and she never came out. I never really knew what my family had gone through. But that was the day that I realized that my father and my aunt and everyone in my family had a story to tell, and I was going to make sure it was heard.
We remember. While the world counted their dead, we counted our living. Those who lived gave us strength to love again. In a displaced persons camp near Munich, Franz Bratt married Boris Blum 5 months after liberation. Their hand-printed wedding invitations listed both their hometowns and the death camps they had survived. Their daughter Toa was one of many babies born in the camp that year. We did not know what would come next. We only knew we could not go back to the life we once lived.
We brought our children and our hope out of hiding. Let us once again restore hope and joy openly to our lives. Let us now return the symbol of our hope for our children to the table. If you hit a note, bring it back out then. Turn it over, and on the back, Write a positive step that you can take to make that hope or any other a reality. If you want, you can share your hopes or steps with each of us in the chat. And I read, may we have peace in our time, and may we have peace between us, is where we can take the first step.
We remember. As we emerged from the rubble of our lives, we were united by an ancient hope, a tikva. The expression of that hope is a song that has blustered us in times of joy and in times of sorrow. It was the clarion call. We dreamt of a better life, a life of freedom and a land of our own, even while trapped in slavery.
כל עוד בלבן פנימה נפש יהודי הומייה כפתי מזרח קדימה עין לציון צופיה עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו התקווה שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים.
As long as the Jewish spirit is yearning deep in the heart, with eyes turned towards the east, looking towards Zion, turn our hope, the 2,000-year-old hope, we will not be lost, to be a free people in our land, the land of Zion and Jerusalem.
With hope in our hearts, we step out of the darkness and into the light of renewed life. Let us say together, as we were all at Sinai, so we are all the children of survivors. As it is written in the Torah, and you shall tell your children on that day, it is because of what Adonai did for me when I went free from Egypt.
We say Shekianu to give thanks that we made it to this time and place. We say it here because although much was lost, we survived, and that survival is worthy of celebration. We drink a cup of wine to celebrate our rebirth.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has supported us, protected us, and brought us to this moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen l'chaim. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine.
Our joy in our survival is tampered by the tears of those we lost. They left no footprint, no fingerprints. All we have is memory. Let us say together, in this moment, we acknowledge that they lived. As long as we remember them, they are with us.
They are gone. They cannot tell their stories any longer, but we can. We can hold open the window, this fragile window. We can give their stories wings. Let us give their stories a voice so they can fly into others' ears, into others' hearts. Only we can tell their stories now. Only we.
The survivors entrust us. I ask you not to forget the dead. I ask you to build a memorial in our name, a monument reaching up to the heavens that the entire world might see. Not a monument of marble or stone, but one of good deeds. I believe with full and perfect faith that only such a monument can promise a better future. Only thus can we be sure that the evil that overturned the world and turned our lives into hell will never return. Donia Rosen, Ukraine.
The final story takes us back to Cooper and Eva.
Ava saw her father for the first time in years. Her father, who she thought was dead, just like her mother. It was a miracle. It was a miracle that her father was still alive and that she could embrace him like she was doing now. But her father leaned down and said, Ava, I have a surprise for you. You have a new mother and a new brother. And shortly after, the mother and the brother walked up to meet her. And one last thing, Ava, her father said, you can't tell anybody what happened during the war, ever. That has to stay a secret between us. An ocean away and a continent away in Los Angeles, Ava was getting ready for a blind date. Her friends had set her up with someone they thought she'd be perfect for. He knocked on the door, she answered, and they went on a date, which led to another date and another, and shortly after that, an engagement, followed by a marriage, followed by a child. They made a family together, and they lived a very happy life. Ava's son was around 14 when he started to put things together. The number of anniversaries his grandparents had celebrated didn't match up with the age of his mother. He started asking questions, and Ava realized it was time to tell her story to her children. She told her son about what happened to her during the war, and she told her son about what happened to his real grandmother, how she was taken away from her on the march to a concentration camp and shot.
Let us remember them as they lived. As we contemplate their pictures, we mourn the stories cut short, the hopes and dreams lost. We speak their names so they will not be forgotten. Some people in these photos are not labeled with names, reminding us that although some stories are lost, we still acknowledge the people who lived them. For these, we simply say unknown. If you have names of the lost you would like us to read, please put them in the chat.
Lorica Liebman, Bella Rodniansky, Boris Tsaitin, Maria Tsaitin, unknown.
Hanna Yaskovitz, Zunia Yaskovitz, Gabor Newman, Joseph Rodo, Zvi Siegel.
From the chat, Arthur Moss, Aaron Moskovich, Arnold Unger, Liza and Shaina Suzalman.
Henrik Schwark, Aaron Goldman Bodner, Mara Kolbeck, Oblick, Marguerite Jacoby, Heinrich Jacoby.
Ali Weiss, Helga Ham, Arthur Rubin, Trude Rubin, Wilhelm Wolf Zeev Cohen.
From the
Let's
chat,
pause a moment for silent reflection.
From the chat, Lynn.
from the chat, Andres Schneitzer, family of Gloria Leon, family of Mira Schulm, Rivka Leibovich, Abris Stark, Magdalena Duska Altanova, I apologize for my pronunciation, Scheindel Retzholz, Charlotte Jorvitz, Sylvia Jorvitz, David Jorvitz.
We pause to remember them all.
If you have a yahrzeit candle, light it now. The yahrzeit candles that I have all come from this really interesting organization called R6 Million. I don't actually know if they still exist, but they all have the names of someone who died in the Holocaust on them. This one says Asher Perlmutter, 1912 to 1942, son of Bila and Baruch, carpenter. Place perished is unknown. I'm going to write this. We did not die alone. We say Kaddish not only for our own dead, but also for the many who were targeted alongside us. Romani people, gay people, those with disabilities, and voices of resistance, all murdered in the great silencing of diversity, speech, and opposition. We feel their loss as we gather and mourn our own immeasurable losses. Please join us in the reading of the Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ילמד יברח חירותי וינליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו Amen. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל וכל בני אדם, ואמרו amen. May the one who brings peace around the world bring peace to all of us and to all who mourn. Amen.
We remember in starving times, we dreamt of cooking in the kitchens of home. In the aftermath, when we contemplated all that had been lost, it was the recipes of those lost kitchens that comfort us.
We reached out and touched nothing, so we turned inward instead. Our memories kept us moving forward, our memories of home and of bread. We cannot return home. It's rubble. We cannot hold family. They're gone. But today we will have dumplings, and tomorrow we will live on.
From the abundance of our brightest lives to the sharing of scraps in the darkest times, communities rise with the sharing of bread. Our ancestors understood this. Let all who are hungry come and eat. Let all who are needy come and celebrate with us. Let us take up that call to share our friendship with all who are in need. Let us say together, as we break bread together, we give thanks for our survival, acknowledging that we are no more deserving than those who did not survive. We celebrate the Jewish community that continues to thrive and the community we have created between us here today.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth.
We awaken to a world where human beings have done unfathomable evil to each other, to us. What do we do now? We weep and ask, how do we go on living after such a loss?
We are commanded to choose life. We remember that our ancestors held on to love and life and hope, even in the harshest times. We know that the thread of Jewish life is strong. As survivors say, grandchildren are the best revenge.
Overwhelmed by the enormity of the story, we whisper, I do not want to hear any more.
We draw inward to comfort one another, and yet we know ignoring evil only allows it to grow. Despite our unease, we choose not to be blind. We choose awareness because we recognize that evil does not need our help, just our indifference. Hans Lohenbach, Germany.
We cry out in anger, how could this happen? Where was the world?
We remember not only the evil of those who hurt us, but also the goodness of those few who helped us. We resolve to turn our anger into a passionate drive to repair the world.
Awakened, we inquire, how does hatred grow? Can we stop it?
Hatred grows when we ignore it. When we allow hurtful behavior to go unchallenged, we will not let evil hide in the shadows. We resolve to shine a spotlight on hate and make it clear that such behavior is not acceptable. We will be vocal torchbearers of love.
אלי, אלי, שלא ייגמר לעולם. החול והים, רשרוש של המים, ברק השמיים, תפילת האדם. Oh God, my God, I pray that these never end. Sand and the sea, the rush of the water, the crash of the heaven, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the water, the crash of the heaven, the prayer of the heart.
Read responsively with us. I pray for courage and for strength. When I remember the evils in the past, the innocent people tortured and murdered, I am almost afraid to make myself remember, but I am even more afraid to forget.
I ask for wisdom that I might mourn and not be consumed by hatred, that I might remember and yet not lose hope.
I must face evil and, so doing, reaffirm my faith in future good. I cannot erase yesterday's pains, but I can vow that they will not have suffered in vain.
And so I pray. For those who were given death, I choose life, for me and for generations yet to come.
For those who found courage to stand against evil, often at the cost of their lives, I vow to carry on their struggle.
I must teach myself and others to learn from hatred that people must love, to learn from evil, to live for good.
We recognize that despite our best efforts, there is still evil in the world. People are still persecuted for who they are. Anger and hatred continue to seep into our communities.
Nevertheless, we proclaim that there is hope. We can make a difference. We can help.
Without justice, there can be no peace. He who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetrate it. Martin Luther King Jr.
To stem the flow of hatred, we must work for justice. For as Isaiah tells us, the work of justice shall be peace.
Across this world, we are many different people. We speak many different languages. Peace is a gift we can give in every language.
Salam. Hewa. Shalom.
Irini, Mir, Changwa,
Friher, Asiti, Frieden.
Nero, Santa Pit, Pace.
Samaya, Shanti, Bizanizi.
שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים. Let the light of your presence be the light of our lives. Grant us happiness, mercy, and peace. May the people of Israel join hands with the world and our passion for justice increase. Nasim shalom, tova uveracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim.
We cannot change our past, but we can build our future.
Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love chesed now. Walk humbly now. You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. Rami Shapiro.
We must remember that peace and justice are not gifts from God. They are our gifts to each other. Elie Wiesel. And so we say together,
We pledge ourselves to work for peace and justice throughout the world. Zedek, Zedek, Nerdof. Justice, justice, we shall pursue.
our God and God of our ancestors, God of our fathers and our mothers, of our living and our dead, hold this people in your hand. Keep us safe and help us find the sacred well of justice that dwells within each of us. Help us to create a just world for all people in all places. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to our readers and our storytellers, Maddie Ruiz, Riley Frank, Cooper Horton, Violet Neff Helms, and Lynn Feldman. Thank you to Karen Cantor Weber for providing the music. And thank you all for participating. Before we finish, I want to let you know of a few things. There's a lot going on this week. Thursday, the 24th, Yom HaShoah, we have two programs. One, a joint program with the Ackerman Center in Dallas, and one, our yearly Sharing Their Stories program at 3 p.m. and at 8 p.m. And on Sunday, the 27th, a joint program with YIVO, three special programs of history and storytelling. We will put the links for all of those in the chat in a moment. Thank you and good night.